Just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in. So at CCPX, which is essentially the Brazilian version of San Diego Comic-Con, the Wheel of Time Season 3 teaser trailer dropped. And I've got to say, call me intrigued. And you know what? I feel like I'm gonna have to go back on my word and cover the Wheel of Time Season 3 just until it no longer becomes entertaining and fun to do. Like, the show isn't entertaining, but for some reason I have this weird, like, abusive relationship with the show where I like hating on it, but only because I see the potential of the show. Like, I'm reading the Wheel of Time book series. I'm on book 13, Towers of Midnight. And the books, for the most part, have their problems. I'm not denying it. They're overly long, but the writing is fantastic. Even the transition from Robert Jordan to Brandon Sanderson was really effortless. I love the prose. I love a majority of the characters. I think Rand's story is really interesting, even though he is my favorite character, but also I love Matt. Matt is just one of the best characters ever. He's so much fun. I mean, my biggest criticism with the book series is the length, because I'm sorry, you don't need like 14 books to tell this story. Like, the writing is wonderful, but there are so many times where, like, I lose track of storylines and plot lines because either they blend together or just, in many ways, it's just overly long. Like, again, I'm on book 13 and they're building up to the big epic battle. The last 3 books were meant to be 1 book, but the manuscript was so long they cut it into 3. And literally, I'm on the second part of this, 3-act structure of the big finale book. And I've kind of lost the momentum of the story. I don't feel like we're near the end. Like, book 12 started and I was like, okay, cool. We're near the beginning of the end. This is going to be interesting. But, like, the book kind of meanders, like, things happen and certain things are interesting, but, like, it gets to the point where, like, I've kind of lost track of, like, yeah, Rand's gonna fight the Dark One now. Anyways, I digress. I'm going on a bit of a tangent about the books. When I finish the book series, I will do a big video talking about the pros and cons of the book series and such. And anyways, back to Season 3 of The Wheel of Time. Look, part of me in my heart of hearts knows that this season won't be good, purely because nothing behind the scenes has really changed, at least from what I can tell. The main thing that caught my eye with this trailer was just visually, it looks way more cinematic. I don't know if Amazon gave them more budget, and I don't know why they would give them more budget considering how bad the first 2 seasons are, but there are some really pretty and striking shots in this trailer that made me go, ooh. Maybe something is different. Maybe they've changed. That, or I'm in denial because, again, I'm in an abusive relationship with the show. I thought this was what was going to happen at the start of Season 2, and then Season 2 stabbed me in the back.
Fuck you! Fuck yeah!
And the thing is, with Season 2, I think it was the second to last episode. I think it was that. It was the one with Swan and Rand when they had the big conversation that they have at the start of Book 2. And I'm sorry, how do you mess up that scene so badly? Like, even from a writing standpoint, if the show wanted to do this whole thematic idea of someone wants to assert her dominance and, force Rand to his knees and such, the writing thematically sets up the point that whatever comes to you, face on your feet. They quote the book. They quote Land's famous line from the book. So you would think in that entire sequence, Rand would be finding a way to, like, fight his way up to his feet and go, like, yeah, I am the dragon reborn, fuck you, Swan. They didn't do that. That's what I mean about the writing of the show. It's like they set up a thematic idea, but they didn't pay it off at all. And then not to mention Jim Morane's whole demeanor and attitude of Season 2 and just... I know going into Season 3, I know what to expect, so that's why I think I am going to cover it. And look, as a filmmaker and writer myself, I know how much work, passion, and heart goes into making a project. I know. My critiques of this show are not at the people behind the camera, the cast, the crew. They all do solid jobs. My problem is just with the writing of the show and the general attitude the people behind the scenes, especially the showrunner, is taking towards adapting these books. Because the books have so much potential if they were faithfully adapted, and they're not, because the showrunner wants to insert their own political ideologies into the book series that aren't present. At least stick to the spirit of the books. Like, the show to me just isn't sticking to the spirit of the books at all. Also, if you want to create a show with your own political ideologies inserted into a story, make your own show. Don't, like, hijack a popular franchise. Because a lot of these political ideas that Rafe Judkins wants to put into the show, it's not present in the material. But before we get into the teaser trailer reaction for The Wheel of Time Season 3, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, follow me on social media, specifically Instagram and TikTok. All of that stuff is linked down in the description down below. And yes, as I mentioned, I am a filmmaker, so if you want to check out my works, it's up there. Also, don't forget to watch my latest short film, E.F. Manar. Play the little video clip here. Before we get into the video, I just want to quickly plug my latest short film, The Shining Optimism of E.F. Manar. Keep the spark alive. as dreamer and optimist E.F. Manar must find a way to keep his hopes and passions alive in a cynical world. Inspired by Wonka and The Greatest Showman, a lot of time, effort, love, and passion was put into this project, so I would really appreciate it if you guys could give it a watch. The film is linked down below in the description, and it's also on the homepage of my YouTube channel. I hope you guys watch it and really enjoy it. Anyways, back to the video. And yes, without further ado, let's get into the official teaser trailer for The Wheel of Time Season 3. Again, just right from the get-go, these are some striking shots. Like, I just look at it and I go, these are pretty. Oh, maybe this won't be so bad. But again, in the back of my brain, I know that's how they lure me in. That's how they're gonna get me. Whilst it looks pretty, under the surface, there's probably gonna be some really like hollow and shallow storytelling and some really cheap overall direction. I know what to expect now. Justice Radowski is like perfect casting for Rand, and it really sucks that he's in the show, because if he was in a one-to-one adaptation of the Wheel of Time books, or at least like, you know, a really faithful series adapting these books, he is pitch perfect casting. I mean, look at him. Tell me that is not Rand al'Thor. That is like, that's the Dragon Reborn right there. What is that quote? What are these lies? Vultures, stop feeding their ego. It's a lie. Like, the signs of a Hallmark TV series is that people talk about it. I hear nobody talking about the show. I mean, yes, maybe in my own circle groups and such, yeah, take that caveat aside, but like, genuinely, I don't see people talking about the show. This isn't like mainstream television, no matter how much they want to push the idea that it is. Like, when The Penguin was coming out, people in my friendship groups were talking about Penguin. People in like other circles, like my workplace and like other community space and such, they were talking about Penguin. No one talks about the Wheel of Time. You mention it and they go, huh? What's that? And half the time they think you're talking about Rings of Power. What? Throughout these snippets, did I just see a scene of Rand and Lan training together? Like they should have been doing throughout the entire show so far.
In every future where I lived, Rand dies.
So basically, and this is going to be a spoiler warning, so skip to the timestamp here, the trailer is very much alluding to the fact that Moiraine is going to die this season. And in many ways, this season is going to be a hybrid of books 4 and 5, right? Because this is the whole bit where Rand and Moiraine are with the Aiel and Rand is learning about his past and such. Though if they are adapting books 4 and 5, there isn't a lot of scenes with Rand and Aviendha together in this trailer. Like, I know it's a teaser, but I don't see a lot of Rand and Aviendha, and that's kind of like the whole point of books 4 and 5. Those are the books that really flesh out their dynamic and their relationship, and in this trailer, I don't see a lot of that happening. Again, this show is very much focused on Moiraine and trying to make her like the central character, which is essentially like making Dumbledore the main character of a Harry Potter show. And it just doesn't work. It just detracts from Justice Radowski's Rand, because again, Rand is supposed to be the main character of these book series, and in the show, he's barely got anything to do. And season 2, they try to rectify it. I wouldn't even say that they try to. They kind of just tell the audience, Rand is so important, he's the dragon, and oh my god, he's really important to like saving the world. But he doesn't do anything. He's not a character. He's a plot device. In many ways, he's kind of like the atomic bomb in Oppenheimer. Actually, no. If anything, the atomic bomb in Oppenheimer has more character and more personality than Rand does throughout this entire show. And again, it's not Justice Radowski's fault. It's the writers.
The only way he lives.
Again, what is it with this show making everything super sexual and super kinky? Like, Rand can't even kiss Lanfear in the books, because if he does, he'll fall straight to the dark. Like, again, this is the showrunner inserting these weird, like, kinky themes and ideas into the show, but, like, it's not present in the book. I mean, like, there is, like, sex and romance and stuff in the Wheel of Time book series, but it's not as, like, kinky and as explicit as this. But the stuff with Moiraine and Lanfear fighting in Tel Amariad, I was going to say the Void. The Void is the thing that Perrin has with his wolf abilities, right? Or am I mixing that up with Marvel? But anyways, the snippets of those two fighting, and we'll call it Tel Amariad for now. They're fighting, and that makes me think that they're going to adapt book 5. Which again, I don't mind, because like I've said, the book series is too long. And for the most part, you can compress 2 books into 1 season. I don't really have an issue with that. My problem is that they said they were doing that with season 2 with books 2 and books 3. But they kind of didn't. Like, if we're supposed to be in books 4 and 5 right now, where is Kalendor? Where is the Stone of Tyr? Like, those are important artifacts and locations. But again, consider that a nitpick. We haven't gotten to it yet. Maybe when the show comes out, they are in the Aiel Waste and they're going to Tyr and they see Kalendor and Rand picks up Kalendor and it becomes like a plot point of an episode. Who knows? So, to end the trailer, they give us a bunch of snippets of what we're supposed to expect in this season. And aside from a flashback with an Aiel, and I'm assuming that's Rand's mother, what's her name again? Tigraine, that's it. And Perrin in armor fighting with an axe, because, I mean, yay, he finally has his axe. We finally have Perrin with an axe. I'm pretty sure that's an axe. Yeah, we are going to get Perrin in the Two Rivers fighting against the White Cloaks. So they are going to be adapting books 4, but then how are they going to bring in Fael? Because Fael doesn't exist yet. Is there even official word or casting on Fael? But aside from Perrin stuff and the really quick snippet of Tigraine, I don't really see much of books 4 and 5 being adapted in this. Then again, like I said, I have forgotten like bits and pieces of the story because again, the books are very long and they're very dense, and for a first time reader, it's a lot to take in. But in some way, shape or form, I do think that this show is going to find a way to condense those stories down into one story. Because if I remember correctly, Perrin isn't even in book 5. I remember throughout the book series, there's a bit where Perrin like just takes like a massive gap from being a main POV character. And again, I don't inherently mind them condensing the books down. It's just that I don't trust these writers. And looking at that last shot, it's very reminiscent of book 4, I think. But also too, the trailer is very much hinting at the fact that Moiraine. And yeah, color me intrigued. I am probably gonna watch The Wheel of Time Season 3. How much of it I watch, that depends. Because recently I've started shows like, say, Doom Prophecy. I've started an episode or two and I'm just like, I might finish it. And then I just haven't ended up finishing it because either I've lost interest or I have another thing to watch or I've got other things to do. But I don't know, maybe because I just have some weird investment with The Wheel of Time, it's pulled me back in. But again too, I'm only going to cover this for as long as I find it entertaining. Because again, me hating on the show, it's all in kind of like good fun. I know how much work goes into creating a piece of art. I know people behind the scenes put their hard work and passion and effort into it. Whether or not I agree on the take on the material, that's a different thing. But like, people are working behind the scenes to make this show. And again, none of my critiques of the show are aimed at like, you know, the grips or the runners or the costume designers or the set designers. They do a really good job. The writing, that's what I have a problem with. Like, there are certain things that the showrunner Rafe Judkins says that I just think are just really questionable when they're just like, it's really hard to explain the concept of Saidar and Saidin. It's like, it really isn't. One side of the power is for male channelers, and the other side of the power is for female channelers. It's not that hard to explain. But we really want to take our time in explaining it. What do you mean take your time? It's like a 2-sentence thing that you can explain in the first season, but no, you haven't explained it in 2 seasons. In the episode in season 2 where Rand cuts the tie to Moiraine's weaves, they still don't explain Saidar and Saidin. This shows sometimes, honestly. Like, again, I am in like a weird Stockholm, like, abusive relationship with the show. But again, it's kind of only in good fun. If I get bored of this series and I get tired of it, I will stop covering it and I will let you know. But look, so long as I'm having fun hating on this show and, you know, no one's getting hurt, I think it's all in good fun. So yeah, join me in March as I cover at least the first episode of The Wheel of Time Season 3. But those are my thoughts on the teaser for The Wheel of Time Season 3. They got me. They got me back. But what did you guys think about it? Let me know in the comments down below. Like, comment, subscribe, follow me on social media. It's all down in the description. Until we meet again, see you guys next time.